Imagine um país com campos verdejantes, Alpes e praias, com uma língua que remonta às suas origens indo-europeias e que é extremamente misteriosa, que possui várias características que permitem que as pessoas que a conhecem possam falar quase que qualquer idioma no mundo, com uma história de diferentes percalços e com um herói que é considerado por muitos como um segundo Alexander the Great, Alexandre o Grande. Nesse vídeo você vai conhecer sobre a cultura, história, língua, culinária e várias outras coisas a respeito desse país, sobre a Albânia, com meu amigo Enita. Tenho certeza que vocês irão gostar. Chiyoye video. I will pretend I didn't talk to you. Pensou. Precedente, Enita.
Personality. Hello, I'm Enmita, or Andri, if you would like to call me by my real name. And I'm from Albania, currently residing in Albania.
So I've started this project in which I have to talk to one person from each country. And today you will be the guy who will talk about your country, Albania. From what I've seen, what is really interesting about your country is that it is like extremely beautiful. Maybe one of the most beautiful places in the world. And why do I say that? Because before talking to you, I did a long, not a really long research, but I was searching about it and I was seeing many videos on YouTube and stuff like this. And everyone was saying like people who traveled the entire planet, they were saying like, oh, it's like a mix between Greece and other countries. It's like extremely beautiful. And I was very surprised. So my friend Enmita, before talking to you, like I always record a few seconds saying like, this is Enmita, I'm gonna talk to him today, but I record those things in Portuguese. So no worries that everyone will know who you are. And how have you been, my friend? It's been a long time since I talked to you. It's been ages since I used Twitch.
Yeah, I've been well, just the usual, streaming on Twitch almost every day, and also working. Well, let's say working and then streaming on Twitch. We haven't talked, like you said, in ages. I haven't seen you in ages, but and also now we get a chance to see, let's say, face to face in a way. Unlike on Twitch, that it was just through chat. Although you could see me, but I couldn't see you. Let's say.
Also, Enmita, you've been streaming for a long time, maybe 4 years now.
Yeah, almost 5. Let's say in December, started at the end of 2020. So now we're almost going to the end of 2025. So almost 5 years, and I've been really loving it. I started very shy. I couldn't even talk or like show my face, but here I am today and able to like show my face every day when I stream, and also let's say now I feel like I can talk even in front of many people, because I used to be very shy and I couldn't even talk in front of many people. So I think that
Yeah,
has really helped me.
I remember, Enmita, that in order for us to talk to you, to see your face, we had to redeem like 10,000 points or something like this. It was not always, you were not always showing up.
Yeah, I was when I started, I was quite shy. It was something new to me, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to not be too shy anymore. So I wanted to be able to talk to people and not, let's say, shy out and then just be like, "Oh, I can't talk. I'm shy," and I think that has really helped. Like through time, I mean, by doing it all the time, when I started to become less shy and be able to talk more.
I'm also really shy, Enmita, but I read somewhere a long time ago, I don't even know where, that if you want to, let's say, succeed at least a little, you have to show yourself or something like this. That's why I said to myself, like, no, yeah, if I want to be one day able to show my things or something like this, I have to show myself. I cannot hide anymore. And with that, I wanted to use something, and I didn't have the opportunity to, because it always it only works in the beginning of a conversation. I would say like "Peshe- peshendetje," and then I would say "see ya."
Shanadia, Yamir, Poti. That means like I'm okay. I'm well. How about you?
Mira,
Uh,
fala em mim dele.
Movie and Mir. That means I'm glad to hear that you're well.
It's very interesting, Mita, that Albanian is really easy to speak, especially for English speakers, because for English and also in a few aspects for German and Portuguese, Spanish, Italian speakers. That is like it is easy for people who speak Germanic, but also Romance languages. Why do I say that? Because it has cases, like in German, but not only for cases, it has five cases, and it has many sounds that we only find in English. We don't find them in German, in Portuguese, in Spanish, in French, but we find them in English, such as the sound, the TH sound.
Yeah.
And not only TH, you have the voiced and unvoiced TH, which is very interesting. My friend Inmita, um, as I said to you, I have like a list of things to talk about. But since I'm talking about languages, how did you learn English? How was English for you to learn? Was it easy? And is English in Albania something common or uncommon?
English in Albania is mostly taught in schools, but it depends on the school. Basically, here each school has like you learn two languages. One has already been decided by the school, so you cannot change it. But then they give the opportunity for you to choose another language. In my case, the language that was already chosen by the school was Italian, because we have different options we can choose from. There's English, Italian, Spanish, German, French. We don't have Portuguese, but I'd say that would have been interesting. So basically, we also had Russian before, but of course, that hasn't been an option in a very, very long time. So in my case, Italian was already chosen by the school, and then I chose English because I wanted to learn English. And although most of the English that I've learned from movies, from video games, from talking to people. But also in school, I've learned a lot. I can say that I haven't learned, but yeah, mostly through talking to people, talking to native speakers, and also through playing video games since I have lots of vocabulary. So that has helped me widen my vocabulary and learn new words and new ways of saying things. And in Albania, it's not, let's say, too common, although nowadays most of the young people speak English because I watch lots of movies. And because something we do here is that we almost never dub movies. So people usually watch them with Albanian subtitles. And that really helps because you get used to hearing many expressions time and time again, so you learn eventually. And so that's how I've, let's say, learned English, partly from school and partly from talking to people, watching movies, and it wasn't too easy. Uh, let's say I struggled a bit at the beginning, but then I became better and better, and now let's say I'm able to watch a movie without subtitles. uh, I probably won't understand like 100% because especially if they're talking fast, but I'll still understand most of the movie even without subtitles. So yeah.
My friend, let's say that I'm going to go to this country, I'm going to go to Albania, and I only speak English, will I be able to, let's say, get around? Will I be able to talk to most people? Or you would recommend me learn a few things in Albanian because not many people speak it.
It's good to, let's say, know a few words before coming here, but even if you don't know anything, people usually tend to help you, even if they don't know you. If they see that you are struggling to find something, they will help you. Most of the young people, they speak English, so you can speak English with them. You'll understand better. But if you meet, let's say, old people who don't know English, in that case, even if they don't know English, they can still help you. They can show you around where you want to go. Maybe they won't understand every word you say, but let's say if you know a few basic words, they can still help you.
My friend Mita, I think you're a really humble guy, but your English is quite good, actually.
Thank
Um,
you.
how how often would you say I would find someone like you who can speak English like you? Let's say in your family, how many people do you know who can speak English like you fluently?
In my family, none, except for my sister who can speak, but not at this level. Whereas for my parents, they maybe know how to say hello, but they don't. They cannot understand. They don't speak English.
I see. I was really curious about that because many people think that in the entire Europe, the entire European continent, they can speak English with everyone, but that's not quite the case. Like in Ukraine, in Albania, and many other countries, English is not that common. Like you will find someone who will be able to talk to you, but it's not that common. My friend Envita, what about your difficulties learning English? When I talk to some people from many countries, they always tell me like the hardest thing for me was pronunciation. The hardest thing for me was being able to say those weird words, make those weird sounds. But if I'm not incorrect, I think I remember that you said that it was not that hard for you in terms of speaking. It was actually easy. Was it true? Is it true, or I'm just tripping?
Yes, for me, it wasn't, in terms of pronunciation, it wasn't too difficult because in Albania, like our language, we pronounce every single letter. So we don't leave anything out. And we also have different accents and different ways of saying things. And for us, it's not really difficult to learn English, or especially the pronunciation part. Mostly, the only difficult part is the grammar. That maybe takes some time to get used to it. But in terms of pronunciation, let's put it this way: we can more or less learn because we can make lots of sounds. We can learn almost every language. Of course, not all of them, because there are many languages that have some distinctive sounds, and they're hard to. It's hard to make those sounds. But in terms of like pronunciation, for the most part, we can learn almost every language because yeah, it's not too difficult for us. Even our alphabet is quite long. It's 36 letters. So yeah.
The feeling I get in Mita is that you're always cheating. You're always cheating because you have like a lot of different sounds. You have, as I said in the beginning, five cases. If you want to learn German, cases are not a problem for you. Um, if you want to learn English, sounds are not a problem for you. You can learn like Portuguese, French, Italian, Spanish, and you have I remember that you have learned Italian and that you also have learned Spanish.
Yes, I can speak Italian, not as good as English, but I'm able to speak. Let's say I'm more or less level B2 in terms of level, whereas in English I'm C1. Uh, and Spanish, I'm able to understand very well, but I'm not able to speak a lot. Mostly because I've watched lots of TV series in Spanish, either like Spanish as like from Spain or from Latin America. even though the Spanish in Latin America is quite different. And maybe the pronunciation sometimes is also a bit different, but also some words are different. One word in, let's say, Latin America, Spanish, can mean something entirely different in Spain and vice versa. So, yeah,
Oh, it's so it's just like Portuguese. In Portuguese, like
yeah,
here we say a young woman is a moça, and there in Portugal, a young woman is like rapariga. And if you say
yeah,
this word here, it is really really bad. Like it's a
yeah.
let's say a hoe. Did you know that?
Okay. I didn't know this one. I know about some Spanish words that have this meaning, like in different countries, but I mean, I knew the Portuguese in Brazil and the Portuguese in Portugal are quite different, but I didn't know. That's interesting.
Uh, so I will try saying something in Portuguese, and you guys from Brazil, my friends, you will see that in Mita can actually understand a lot of things in Portuguese because he studied Italian and Spanish. Em Mita, você pode me entender?
See,
uh, Mita sabe muitas coisas de português e italiano. E eu me recordo de falar com Enmita em português. Eu falava com Enmita em português por escrito. E Enmita podia entender tudo que eu falava. Eu, eu estou falando com um sotaque mais nordestino, nordeste do Brasil, porque eu creio que este sotaque é mais fácil de ser entendido. Mas, na verdade, eu me lembro que eu posso falar com um sotaque mais, digamos, de São Paulo, porque Anitta sabe do som de.
see.
Did you understand everything I said, Anitta?
Almost everything.
Almost
Almost everything.
everything. Anitta is a cheater. He's a cheater. Okay, okay, Anitta. So,
I mean,
starting.
apart from sorry, yeah, apart from like I said, movies in Spanish, I've also watched quite a lot of Brazilian TV series, so I'm able to understand Portuguese. But of course, if someone speaks too fast, I won't be able to understand anything. But let's say that since I've watched mostly movies, I mean Brazilian TV series or movies. If I go to Portugal, maybe it'll be a bit more difficult because I haven't watched lots of Portuguese movies like from Portugal. So yeah, in this sense, let's say it depends because I guess you also have some dialects. So, but for the most part, let's say I can understand. I can understand a lot.
Actually, it's really funny because you have access to most of the planet because you have access to the entire American continent since you can understand Spanish, Portuguese, and English. And you also have access to Europe because you speak English, and a few places in Europe, and also in Africa because they speak Portuguese in some areas in Africa. You may say like you have dialects, but not actually, not really. Here in Brazil, we only have a few different accents. So if you understand spoken Portuguese when they speak slowly, you can get around here, and that's really really interesting. So, my friend, let's start from something here. Let's start from religion in your country, religion in Albania. Is Albanian? I know the answer is kinda, but I want you to tell me. So is Albanian a Christian country? It is like most people from Albania, are they Christians?
Okay, so religion has changed a lot throughout centuries and like throughout the years. Like everyone else before, we were just pagans, so we believed in different gods. But when the Christianity started and the Roman Empire was in power, most of the people turned to Christianity and either Catholic or Orthodox. Although Orthodox, they became later on during the Byzantine Empire, but I say that around this time, most of the people were either Catholic or Orthodox. And later on, when the Ottoman Empire conquered us, most of the people became Muslim. And because of that, most of the people nowadays in Albania are Muslim, although the majority of those people don't practice religion a lot. So let's say that all in all, they might say that they are Muslim, but they don't practice the religion. So in a way, let's say that uh, maybe not entirely that they don't have a religion, they still have a religion they believe in, but they don't practice it. So in this sense, let's say that they don't really have a religion. But for the most part, all the religions here basically coexist together. We are very tolerant in those terms, so we basically don't judge people by their religion. So yeah, the majority, let's say, like I said, are Muslim. The rest are Catholic and then Orthodox.
This is a really interesting thing that you've just said, because like while I was searching about it, that's one of the things I read. I read like Albanians are very tolerant, so don't worry about religion. And I didn't ask you about that because sometimes people don't say the truth. But since you've told me about that, it's very funny. It's very interesting to hear that. Like it doesn't matter if I'm Muslim, if I'm Christian, or whatever. People don't really care about that. Here in Brazil, they do. They most like they're not, never gonna do something bad to you, but they will look down on you if you're from a different religion.
Yeah, here we don't let's say now that we don't care, but like in the sense that we don't really mind if you are Christian or if you are Muslim or if you are another religion. Let's say that if you came from Asia and you are Buddhist or another religion, we don't really judge. Let's say we will welcome everyone. Although, of course, there are people who will judge, but like for the most part, we are very tolerant, so we don't really mind if you are from a different religion. And maybe we might not agree in some things because, of course, there are different religions, but for the most part, we're just like, oh, that's fine. We don't mind. You might be another religion, but that's okay.
Anita, there was something I wanted to ask you, but I forgot. In the beginning, I wanted to ask you about the language spoken in Albania. Of course, the main language, like almost everyone speaks it, is Albanian. Shikip, maybe the pronunciation. But we also have other languages, like Italian, and a few others. Is it easy to find someone who speaks those other languages? Let's say you want to be able to practice your Italian. Is it easy to find someone who speaks it?
It depends, like especially nowadays, many young people speak Italian very well. So it's very likely that you'll find someone that speaks Italian. But other languages might be a bit hard. For instance, Portuguese, not many people speak it. So it might be quite hard to find someone that speaks Portuguese. But in terms of like English, Italian, and Spanish, mostly English and Italian are the two main languages that people often speak. But some people might also speak Spanish, or they might be able to understand very well, but maybe they're not able to speak it that fluently. Whereas Portuguese, it might be a bit harder because of the distance and like we haven't really had like too many people from Portugal come to Albania. Although now, I guess tourism has grown a lot, so we have people from all over the world now. But let's say that for the most part, Italian and English are the most common that you'll find.
Do you, as an Albanian, know that your country is seen as like one of the most beautiful places, or is it something new for you when I'm telling you this?
Yeah, Albania is a very beautiful country. Uh, I mean, it has a bit of everything. Of course, we don't have. I mean, the only thing we don't have here are deserts or like Let's say like because even a desert has its own beauty. Let's say in a way. But we have almost everything. We have the Alps, like very high mountains. We have the sea. Then we have so many other places in between that are, let's say, a mix of the two. And yeah, it's a very beautiful country. Maybe some things are still a work in progress, and then let's say you need some work. But for the most part, they're really well kept. So kept, and it's quite beautiful. I'm not saying because it's my country, but like because I've also visited other countries, but yeah, it is beautiful.
It is a magic place from what I've seen. Like, even through your window, I would ask you, I remember, I would ask, Enmita, is it your window? Is it real? Because I was really surprised. Uh, Enmita, okay, so now let's start talking a little bit about your culture. There are some festivals in Albania. I like many festivals, and I don't really know which ones to talk about, but I picked up a specific one to get started. It's called Dita Veres. Dita Veres, maybe.
Yeah, that is
It,
like the summer day that we celebrate. That one is a bit different. Let's say it's originated from the middle part of Albania, also from the region I'm from, and we used to celebrate a lot. And as kids, we couldn't wait for the holiday. It's celebrated in 14th of March, although let's say it's not even the beginning of spring, but we celebrate as like a summer day because the seasons are little by little changing. So from winter, we're slowly passing through another season. That one is entirely a pagan festival, even though many people believe in one religion or the other, but they still celebrate it. And let's say it's the only one that has survived centuries and upon centuries, and it's
and
celebrated even today.
for a person who speaks a Romance language, this sounds kind of similar. Dita e Veres.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like dia e verão for a Portuguese speaker. And I don't know how to say that in Italian, in Spanish, but I suppose it's kind of similar. Am I correct?
Yeah, there's lots of similarities because not only Albania but also other countries have midsummer or like they celebrate. But in terms of language, like our language is quite unique. It's not connected to any other languages, although it has had influences, of course. It has borrowed lots of words from other languages, but at its core, it's quite a unique language.
Oh,
But
that's
because yeah,
another. Yeah, yeah, go on.
yeah, it's basically, let's say, its own family of languages. But throughout the years, like because we have been conquered by different empires, we have gained lots of words. And but according to different studies, uh, today we have at least 300 words that are exactly the same as the words that were spoken like many, many centuries ago by the first people that inhabited our land, which is really fascinating. I learned it not a very while ago that we had this, and I was like, oh, really? Because I know that our language is quite unique, but I didn't know that we had almost 300 words that are exactly the same as the language that was spoken very, very early on from our people.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing, my friend. This is one of the things that I didn't ask you about because I thought were really specific. But I just
Yeah,
remembered that you're one of those, let's say, just like me,
yeah.
Des and a few other guys, one of those guys who love understanding things about languages. And I remember that this was one of the things I read about. It's a unique language because it is not really connected to any of those modern ones. It is something that is connected to the, let's say, beginning of most modern languages, like the beginning of the Indo-European languages. This is quite unique.
Yeah, it's basically Many, I mean, we don't know it, still don't know it for sure, but it is debated that it's the oldest language in Europe, or at least among the oldest, because, like I said, there is not like too much evidence because in those times people didn't really leave any writings or any proof. So, but it's like from the picture you sent me, as you can see, it's like at the very bottom of the tree. So, in that sense, let's say you might think that it's the oldest, at least in Europe. But I guess there more studies are needed. But at least for now, let's say for many studies, it is said that it's, if not the oldest, at least among the oldest in Europe.
That's really nice. That's really, really nice. And Mita, do you celebrate Dita e Pavarese?
Yep, we celebrate it in November, 28th of November. It was a day when we basically declared our independence against, let's say, the powers of the time that wanted to, let's say, separate Albania in different parts and take it as their own, let's say. And especially Italy and Germany, that were like two major ones that wanted, let's say, to conquer us. And it happened in 1912 when we declared. Of course, it didn't happen like immediately, but let's say with time we gained our independence. We celebrated it as something very major here because we really love our history and our culture, and we celebrate it a lot.
Uh, the reason I asked you, like, Anita, do you celebrate it? Is because you look just like me. You don't look like a guy who enjoys celebrating things, going out and actually celebrating them.
Yeah,
Um,
in that sense, I don't go like in parties or like celebrate, but let's say in my own way, I pay respects to our flag and let's say to our nation. But of course, I won't like go in the streets and. But I like it as a holiday. It's you know,
Anita, I heard that you have a really important person there in Albania, a guy who is like, let's say, kind of a Alexander the Great from Albania. This one that I will send you through Discord. I will try to pronounce his name. I don't know if it's this one in the beginning, but maybe George Castriotti Skenderbeu.
yes, you pronounced it correct.
Who is this
Uh,
guy?
yeah, he's our national hero. Like most of the official documents and everything has, I'd say it's especially his helmet because it's quite famous. As you can see, it's quite unique, and it's almost everywhere in our institutions and everything. And he was a person that basically at the beginning he was taken by the Ottomans as a ransom. But then later he grew to, let's say, love our country, of course, more, and so he came to Albania and fought the Ottoman Empire for 25 years and didn't lose one single battle against them, and kept them at bay, let's say, kept them away from Albania for like 25 years. And for us, it's a national hero because it's, even though like his rule was not too long, maybe, well, let's say 25 years might seem a lot, but maybe in the long term it was not a lot because later on we still got conquered by the Ottoman Empire for 500 years. But in a way, it was like a very good campaign to protect our country. So for us, it's a national hero, and we respect him a lot, and that's why all the institutions have especially his helmet, but also his portrait and his name.
I heard that he defeated the Ottomans in many battles, although he was outnumbered. That's
Yeah,
really nice.
he was quite strategic when it came to battle. Even though he didn't have the numbers, he used strategy and asked for help from allies and people he could count on. He also had a good relations with Naples, with Napoli in Italy, and they provided him with lots of support. But for the most part, he used lots of strategy to defeat them, especially since we have lots of mountains and it's, let's say it's easy to draw them into a trap. So, yeah, even though he didn't have the numbers, he still won lots of battles and didn't lose any of them.
And you have a statue for him in Tirana. I'm
Yep.
looking at it. Looks really neat.
It's in the main square of the town, and lots of people, especially tourists, they like to take pictures and to learn about him. But even for us, it's not only just a statue, but it's also like in many cases a point of reference when we say like, "Where do we meet?" Oh yeah, Skanderberg Square. It's perfect. Like everyone knows where it is, and but it's a
I
very
s-
important person for us.
oh, his name like known as Skanderbeg because it comes from Turkish Lord Alexander. So they really
Yes,
compare him to Alexander the Great.
yes, because he didn't lose any battle, and that's why they often compare him with Alexander the Great. And in Turkish, Iskander means Alexander, and Bey is like a title, like sire in English. So let's say Sir Alexander, if you will translate it word by word. And that's why he
Also,
got his name.
he didn't lose any battles.
Yep. Even once that he was betrayed by his own nephew, he still didn't lose the battle. He still came out victorious, but it was one of those points in his career, military career, let's say, that he got stabbed in the back by his own people, especially by his own nephew. So, but even after that, he still came victorious.
I see that is a really powerful guy. And it's
Yeah,
not easy to die without ever losing to anyone.
yeah, and even
My
forgave
friend,
his nephew later on.
what did you say, Enmita?
He even forgave his nephew after that. I mean,
Oh,
after a while, of
I
course.
see. He forgave his nephew.
Yes.
Will you forgive your nephew if he did that to you?
It depends on the circumstances, but I feel inspired by our hero, so I might even forgive. But it depends. I mean, I can't say for sure, but I guess he saw it reasonable to forgive him, even after all he did. So,
There is something very interesting about this conversation with you, my friend Enmita. That is like I searched about your country. I searched about those things, but I when you search about something, you don't really know if it's true. And like many things are true from what you're saying. Like I
yeah,
was searching about this guy, and he was said to be a real Albanian hero, and that everyone loved him. And I thought,
yeah,
like, no, maybe he's not that important. Maybe Envita doesn't really know this guy. He knows it because it's part of his history,
yeah,
but he's not really interested in knowing about him. But I see that that is not true. What I saw about him is like it real work for you. This guy is very important.
yeah. Even by many authors of the time during the 15th century, when he was reigning, they consider him as one of the greatest generals of all time. Compare him with other generals like Alexander the Great or other generals like uh, Genghis Khan or the many other ones that were very strategic and very successful in their campaigns.
We have a thing here in Brazil, which is called Carnival. We also have it in other places, but I confess that I don't really know about them. And when I was searching about your country, Albania, I saw that you have something very similar to the celebrations we have here in Brazil. It's like Carnavalet e Corosas. Is my pronunciation correct?
It's okay. Yeah, we have, especially in that town called Korcha, They celebrate the carnivals. I believe it came as a tradition from Venice because they also celebrate it. And now it's being celebrated in Albania as well, mostly in this town. Celebrated every year. It's very similar to the carnivals you have in Brazil. Maybe not as big because I've seen from videos that in Brazil it's quite big and everyone is celebrating. But even here, let's say it has gained quite a lot of importance throughout the years.
And Mita, I wanted to ask you just about two more festivals. And one of them, I think, is the one related to the folk music. Um, so the first one of them is, my pronunciation sucks. Festa e Veras na Elbasan.
Yeah, this one is like the summer day that I talked earlier. It originates in Elbasan, which was also named differently before. It was actually named Scampa, but then the name changed to the name we have today. And this is the place where the summer day originated. And now it has become like a national holiday. It's celebrated everywhere. But this is like the city that started.
It looks huge.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes,
And
the
then,
city has been quite important in the past. It has lots of like forts and it has been quite a strategic position.
my friend Mita, the other one is, which I think is related to the folk music, which is very popular from Albania, is Festa e Gestenhas.
Yes, it's not celebrated in all Albania, but in some parts, and it's basically the let's say celebration of chestnuts. Some parts of Albania have grow lots of chestnuts, and they decided to let's say uh, call for a celebration, uh, especially like during the season when they actually pick them up. And I personally love chestnuts. Even the village where I was born, we had lots of them, and they're one of my favorites. It's a kind of nuts, and together with walnuts. It's not like a very well-known celebration, but it is part of our culture. Some regions celebrate it.
And Mita, what about folk dance? Is it something common in Albania? Is it something that you in your life you could see very often, or is it something specific from a few areas?
Yeah, that is part. I mean, depends on the region. It varies. It can be a bit different. Like the northern part has like different dances and different music, and the southern part has different ones, and also the middle. It's kind of like in the middle. It's a mix of the two. But all Albania likes folk music. They like to dance, and especially like in weddings, but also in other parties. As soon as folk music starts, everyone is just dancing. So it's quite important for us. We really love it.
Admit, I cannot imagine you dancing like this. Do you dance this folk dance?
Uh, Not this one. Uh, Actually, we don't dance this one in Albania, but maybe like in very like many centuries ago. But I haven't, at least I haven't seen this one. I don't know. Maybe some regions celebrate it, but I haven't seen. Uh, but we have other customs and that we use. That also many people wore them before, but nowadays we only wear them like in festivals and or weddings or things like that.
I see. So it's something more specific, not like it used to be. Uh, my
Yeah,
friend,
and also sorry. Also, every region has its different customs, like costumes. Like they vary. The color changes, or some new elements are added or removed, or like it depends on the region. But it's let's say at the core they're more or less the same. Like if you know what I mean, not exactly the same, but like Like in the bigger picture, they're very similar.
I see,
Uh,
Almighty Anita. So, Anita, another thing that I enjoy asking people about is not only here in those videos I'm making, talking to one person from each country, but um, since forever, like I always enjoyed asking people about a specific thing, which is food, food in your country. And when I was searching about yours, I saw a dish called tava cozy. Do you enjoy this one?
yeah, I haven't. Let's say I don't eat it a lot, but I've tried it. It's really nice. It comes from the same town we talked before, Elbasan. It's a very traditional of that place, and I don't like the origin of it exactly, but it has been, let's say, a traditional dish for centuries. Maybe it might also have had a bit of influence from Turkish since we're conquered by the Ottoman Empire, but for the most part, I guess it's at its core, let's say, it's Albanian authentic food.
And you seem to have a dish full of pepper, just like that one from Mexico. It's called parguesa.
Yep, we have that, especially in the region where I was born from. We consume that a lot, but also in other parts of Albania. It might differ a little. Let's say might have more ingredients or less depending on their taste, but it's something like quite authentic. Let's say quite traditional.
Okay, my friend, last dish. The last one is birek. Do you know it?
Yes, we love burek. Even this one, I don't know. I mean, I know how it is made. It's not very difficult, but maybe for me, at least the part when you open the crust, it might be a bit difficult. But we really love that as a food. It's one of the most consumed food here. It's also like a snack. Like if you want to get something on the go, you get a burek, and sometimes you might also get some milk or some yogurt to say to eat it with. But even if you don't get any of those, it's quite popular here. Just burek on the go and go to work. And
In Mita, Albania is a huge country and it has many special places. Like you have one of the biggest lakes in the world. It's not specifically only in Albania, but you also have access to it. And I wanted to ask you, Mita, I can just look up on Google like best places to visit in Albania. But from your perspective, could you recommend me a place to visit in Albania?
there are a few I can recommend. In the northern parts, there are the Alps. I'm yet to visit them, even though I live in Albania, but I haven't visited them yet. But I plan to. I've seen that they're very beautiful. Of course, I wouldn't recommend you go there in winter because it's you might get stuck because it snows a lot. But during the summer, it's very beautiful, and also you can let's say you can escape from the heat of the city. So then the southern part, there's one we call the Blue Eye, which basically like an underground source of water that looks very beautiful. It looks like an eye because it comes out of the rocks and it forms like a little lake, and it's very beautiful. We
You're
also
really
have,
lucky.
yeah, of course, the beaches you can visit, especially the southern part, but also in the northern part. There is one near what we call Lej. There is a very beautiful one there. So there are a few places that I would recommend. Even I personally haven't visited all of them, but I plan to visit all of them.
Amita, how is this place spelled that I just talked about? Is it Theth?
It's Lej is like Lezh, and which is a special character we have in Albanian language. Although French I've seen also has it, but for us it's like an E, but like with two dots, like with the umlauts above. So it's like and
Is
many
it? No, yeah, go on.
many people struggle to pronounce it. It's a bit difficult, especially for English speakers, because they cannot say the sound. Because like and they say instead of but it's like so it's like a.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see, my friend. That's why I'm saying it incorrectly because I was trying to pronounce it as a, let's say, do you remember schwa?
What?
Like the schwa sound is that really common sound in English that is like, but, um, this sound. I was trying to pronounce it like this one, but I just noticed that it isn't. It is not the same sound. It's like a, maybe.
Yeah, in English it's a bit different, but like in our case it's like uh, or just like when you want to basically say like in Albania we also use that to where we didn't hear what one person said and we're like so it's like what did you say? But it's like only one letter, so for many people it might look a bit confusing because they'll be like what are you saying? There's like only one letter to say what.
One letter to say, what are you saying?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
also have words for that, but in many cases, especially we're not paying too much attention to what the other person is saying. We'll be like, just like,
My friend Invita. So, I just two final questions to ask you.
yep.
The first one of them is, what is the best thing for you about your country? Let's say the thing you're most proud of.
There are a few, but the thing that I'm mostly proud about is our very long history, which spans like centuries upon centuries, and I really love our history, even though, like I said before, we have been conquered, let's say, by many empires, but still. Let's say in the long run, I still really like our history because it's a very, very rich history. But I also like the fact that we have this tolerance, let's say, and we respect people, especially foreigners, but also people, let's say, we don't know, especially like in the northern part of Albania, they might, even if they're like enemies, they'll still welcome one another, especially if they're just coming to just to talk. And we also have a saying that our house is the house of God and also the house of our guest. Maybe it's not. It's like a rough translation. It's not exactly the same. Let's say there is no such expression in English. Maybe in Spanish where you say "mi casa es tu casa," but
Mi casa es tu
uh,
casa.
yes. So we have that. So we really respect our neighbors. Let's say.
So, Emita, one second question. Uh, what is one thing that you don't like about your country and you want that to improve? You want that to change?
Well, I mean, it depends. Like there are a few things that I wish they were better, especially like infrastructure and but in terms of like people, even though like I said we are very respectful, but things have changed a bit and maybe the young generation doesn't like I mean they're still very respectful, but like not as the old people used to be, let's say the other generations before. But mostly like the politics and I mean of course politics is everywhere, it's like that, but like mostly like, let's say I wish that our infrastructure was better, but I mean still a work in progress. They're trying to make it better, but like these are let's say things that I don't like a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing here in Brazil. If I had to say something, I would say that politics have to
Yeah.
change. Okay, my friend, thank you so much.
uh, it has been really my pleasure, and I hope you'll find someone like from every country. Maybe it might be difficult. I don't know
Yeah,
how
it might be really difficult.